What's up YouTube? My name is Caden and you're watching Gasset Garage. Today is part 9 of the 3rd gen 4runner build. In today's video, I've got quite a list of small upgrades that I'm going to be doing to this thing, including rock lights and just some other smaller things that I've been really meaning to do on this thing. So let's jump right in. Alright guys, so in this video we're basically just going to be doing a lot of small little things that I've been meaning to do for quite a while, and I've got kind of this little list here of things I need to do. Like for example, we're going to be installing some rock lights on this thing, which will make it just kind of look cool at night. And then also one thing I forgot to do when I built this rear bumper back here is I forgot to add some loops for the safety chains when I'm towing a trailer. So I'm gonna find some metal and bend it up and create 2 little loops, one here and then one on the other side right there. I am gonna have to grind off this nice paint job, but I'll clean it up with the grinder and then repaint it when I'm done. Also, these holes, there's one right here and one on the other side. It's just a pass-through right there. And I think it's where the upper link mounts are for the rear axle. I'm kind of tired of having to blow that out with a pressure washer because water and mud and debris does get in there. So while it's dry right now, I'm actually going to cut out some metal circles and cap those off. And then I'm also going to be building some armor for the rear differential right there. So when I do bottom out on the trail, it will be protected from any sort of damage. And then also this plug is kind of cooked because it looks like it got scraped right there. And then also there's a little bit of a cut in the wires right there. So I am going to have to maybe take up the floorboards in this thing and replace that. And I do have a piece of wire with the connector on the end right here, so we're going to be replacing that. And then lastly, I'm going to be cleaning up and reinstalling these rear recovery points on the underside of the frame underneath there because the bolt holes are still there. And then there's also one last thing to do after that, which is kind of fixing the angle of this rear bumper right here, because it's hard to see on camera, but this side is slightly lower than that side. So I'm going to put a jack underneath there with a board, jack it up and try and bend it up just a little bit. I'm not sure if it'll work, but it's worth a try. So let's go ahead and get started on the trailer loops. All right, guys, so we just got these two tow hooks ground down, cleaned up, bolted on, and painted, and I think they look pretty good. So something actually happened last night when I was coming home from somewhere. I'll throw a clip of that in right here. All right, so I'm in the 4runner, and my ABS light just came on, and my battery light came on, and my engine's still running just fine.
Whoa, everything's flashing.
Everything is malfunctioning.
Look at this. Look. Whoa, screen's dead.
Okay, it says I'm at 0 RPMs, but my engine's still running fine. This is not great. Okay, so now I have no headlights. There's a relay that's clicking under my dash constantly. All of the lights in the car, it's hard to tell on camera, but they are very, very dim. You can barely see the clock. If I turn my headlights on, that's what I get. They're flashing. So as you can see, my whole electrical system was kind of dying in this thing. I had almost no headlights. My radio kept turning on and off. I had an ABS light on and a battery light on, and everything in the car was kind of dying on me, but the engine was still running fine. So I think what happened is my alternator is kind of dead. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing removed and take it to AutoZone just to have them test it and confirm if it's bad or not. I'm 95% sure that it's bad and I need a new one, but I just want to know for sure. So I'm going to have them test it, and I'll probably end up buying a new one, and then I'll come back and reinstall it. So for right now, let's go ahead and get the alternator removed. All right, guys, so I just got back from the parts store, and they said that the old alternator failed the test, and it was definitely bad. So I bought a new one, and we're gonna go ahead and get this thing installed. All right, guys, so I just got the new alternator installed, and I got the battery hooked back up. So this battery is kind of dead from just the engine trying to run off of it last night because the alternator died. So let me grab my jump pack, and then I'm gonna hook it up, and we're gonna start this thing up, and then I'm gonna see how all of my electronics are working. All right, let's start this thing up and see how everything works. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but the lights are pretty bright and they're functioning normally. My radio's on and it's working, and everything in here seems to be working. The clock is nice and bright. I can't really see the dash lights just because it's daytime right now, but I think that fixed our issue. All right, so now that that's working, let's fix this trailer wiring right here. All right, guys, so now that the new trailer wiring is done, we can now move on to patching up these holes. I'm going to first grind these down so we have bare metal to weld to, and then I'm going to cut out some circles out of this old steel plate right here, and then we're going to weld those on. And I'm only going to film doing one side, mainly just because I want to keep the video a little bit shorter, and it's literally the exact same process for both sides. So let's go ahead and get started on this side, and then after that's done, I'll also grind it down with a wire wheel and throw some paint on it so it doesn't rust. And then I'll do the other side off camera. All right, guys, so we just got both ends of this pass-through tube capped off, welded, and painted. Doesn't look great, but it's not terrible at the same time. And it's in the wheel well. It doesn't have to look that pretty. So there's one, and there is the other one right there. So I was looking at this bumper right here, and I wanted to bend it back because it is a little bit lower on this side than it is on that side, just because I'm not a professional fabricator and I didn't get my measurements 100% exact, which is okay, especially for this, but it's still kind of bothering me that that's slightly lower than that side. But I was looking at how I mounted this thing, and this mount right here is going to prevent me from being able to put enough force on this super thick wall piece of tubing right here to be able to bend it back. And also, even if that wasn't there, this would probably be kind of difficult to be able to bend back. And plus, there's not really a lot of space between the body and the bumper right there. So even if I did bend it back, I would probably have to hammer a dent in the body right there, which I don't really want to do. So I think I'm just going to leave it, and I'm just going to have to kind of deal with looking at it, but it'll be okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install some rock lights on all four wheel wells on this thing. Mainly just because I like them, they look cool, and it'll kind of help me see underneath the car if I'm ever stuck out at night and I need to look underneath it for whatever reason. And again, it just looks kind of cool. So I've got two lights that I'm going to install on each wheel well. So it's going to take me a little bit of time to drill all the holes, get them mounted, and then wire it all up. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, so the rock lights on the 4runner are finally done. I do have two more that I may install on the front at a later date, but I think it'll be fine right now. So I've got one under each rear wheel well, and then I've also got two that are underneath there to light up the whole rear end underneath here. And then on the front, I've got one right there, and then one right up in there. And I wired everything up. The front ones are wired into the switch for the hood ditch lights, which is right here. So when I flip that switch, that turns the front ones on, and then all the four in the rear I wired to this little switch. This is actually a kill switch for a mini bike, but I just had it lying around, wasn't using it, so I made a little custom bracket underneath there. I don't know if you can see it, and it fits kind of perfectly right there. So when I flip that on, come back here, all the lights are on underneath. So I will turn the camera back on tonight when it's dark out, so we can see how these things look in the dark. But for right now, what I want to go ahead and start doing is I want to work on the armor for the rear differential right there. So let's start cutting up some metal and grinding the paint off so I can weld to it and get started building that. All right, guys, so I got the armor on the rear differential completely done and painted up, and it doesn't look great, but I mean, it's just off-road armor on a differential, so no one's really going to see it, and it's really just meant to have the metal be a little bit thicker, so if it hits rocks or something, it won't really damage it. And then here's the other side that you really didn't see when I was building it, but I just have one piece going right here, and then the one piece going front to back right there, and then I have two pieces over here kind of welded together. I was going to do a second one back over here, but I decided not to just because this one's big enough. So I got everything painted so it shouldn't rust, at least for a while, and I left the drain bolt exposed right there, but it already has an armor ring around it, so it should be good to go. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. We got a lot done. We got the end caps done. We've got the diff armor done. Got all the rock lights put in, and I honestly can't really remember what else we did. Oh, we did the chain loops on the trailer hitch. Got the rock lights all done. I replaced the terminals on the battery right there. I currently have it unhooked because I was welding. And I did film the rock lights at night last night, so I'll throw that footage in right here. All right, guys, so here is the completed underglow rock lights on the 4runner. I did wire the front rock lights into the hood mounted ditch lights, but I'll probably change that later, like I said earlier. But I think this looks pretty awesome. They're not as bright as I would have liked, but it's still pretty cool. And then here's the car with all of the lights on that I installed. So I'll do a quick walk around. I gotta admit, this thing does look pretty cool at night. So now, tomorrow, I'm gonna move on to building the armor on the rear diff. So the rock lights aren't the greatest, but I think they do look pretty cool, especially at night and with all of the other lights on. So I am really, really dirty from all that welding and grinding, as you can probably tell. But that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.